What if the greatest illusion of modern politics is not dictatorship itself, but the idea that democracy can survive while being hollowed out from the inside? What if a country can keep holding elections, keep its flag its constitution, its institutions, and still become something unrecognizable? Today you are going to understand how Nicolás Maduro did not seize power with tanks in the streets or a single dramatic coup, but instead crushed democracy slowly, methodically, legally, and in full view of the world, and how he managed to walk away without consequences while an entire nation collapsed around him. By the end of this video, you will see how a democracy can die without ever officially ending, how fear can replace freedom, without most people realizing it, and why Venezuela became one of the most chilling political case studies of our time. To understand how Maduro got away with it, we need to understand that the destruction of democracy in Venezuela did not begin with him. It began years earlier, with a promise that sounded like salvation. When Hugo Chavez rose to power, he did so through elections, not force. He spoke the language of the poor, the excluded, the forgotten. He promised dignity, justice, and a break from corrupt elites. And millions believed him. For a time, Venezuela appeared to thrive. Oil money funded massive social programs. Poverty indicators fell. Chavez rewrote the constitution with popular approval. The world watched and saw a democracy reinventing itself. But something fundamental was changing beneath the surface. Institutions were no longer independent. They were loyal. Courts stopped acting as checks and started acting as shields. The military was no longer neutral. It became ideological. Media outlets that criticized the government were harassed, bought, or shut down. Democracy was no longer about limits to power. It was about who power served. Chavez did not destroy democracy outright. He reshaped it into something fragile, centralized, and dangerously dependent on one figure. When Chavez died in 2013, that fragile system was handed to a man who was never supposed to be strong. Nicolás Maduro was not charismatic. He did not inspire crowds. He lacked Chavez's authority and popularity, but he inherited something far more powerful than public trust. He inherited control over the state apparatus. The election that brought Maduro to the presidency was narrow and controversial, but legality mattered less than leverage. From the beginning, Maduro understood one crucial truth. He did not need to be loved. He needed to be feared. And more importantly, he needed to eliminate every mechanism that could remove him. As the economy began to collapse, protests erupted. Inflation exploded. Food shortages became normal. Hospitals ran out of supplies. Millions took to the streets demanding change. In a functioning democracy, this pressure would have forced reform or resignation. In Maduro's Venezuela, it triggered repression. Security forces responded with brutality. Tear gas, arbitrary arrests, beatings, live fire. Protesters were labeled terrorists. Students were dragged into prisons. Opposition leaders were jailed, exiled, or silenced through legal maneuvers. The message was clear. Dissent would be punished, not negotiated. Here is where Maduro's strategy becomes unmistakable. He did not cancel elections. He did not ban opposition parties outright. Instead, he weaponized the law. Courts disqualified candidates. Electoral rules were entire parties were stripped of their leadership and handed to government loyalists. Elections continued, but choice disappeared. People were allowed to vote, but never allowed to win. In 2015, something happened that threatened to expose the entire illusion. The opposition won a landslide victory in the National Assembly. For the first time, Maduro faced an institution he did not fully control. And this is the moment when Venezuelan democracy crossed the point of no return. The Supreme Court, packed with loyal judges appointed in haste, immediately moved to neutralize the assembly. Every law it passed was struck down. Its authority was stripped piece by piece. Eventually, the court declared the assembly itself in contempt, rendering it powerless. Maduro then went even further. He created an entirely new legislative body, the Constituent Assembly, elected under rules designed to guarantee government dominance. This new body replaced the elected parliament entirely. It had absolute power. No oversight, no opposition. Democracy was not abolished. It was bypassed. International outrage followed, but it was fragmented and inconsistent. Sanctions were imposed, Statements were issued. But Maduro understood something the world refused to accept. Authoritarian systems do not collapse from condemnation alone, especially when fear, hunger, and dependency are carefully engineered. Maduro turned food into a weapon. Government-controlled food distribution programs became tools of loyalty. If you supported the opposition, you risked losing access to basic supplies. If you protested, your name could be added to a list. Survival itself became politicized. At the same time, the military was rewarded with control over key industries, including food imports and oil operations. Their loyalty was purchased, not requested. Millions of Venezuelans fled the country, creating one of the largest migration crises in modern history. And paradoxically, this mass exodus strengthened Maduro's grip. The people most likely to protest were gone. Those who remained were exhausted, fearful, and struggling to survive. The international community searched for a solution. In 2019, opposition leader Juan Guaido was recognized by dozens of countries as Venezuela's legitimate president. It looked like the beginning of the end for Maduro, but recognition without enforcement is symbolism, not power. Maduro retained control of the military, the courts, the police, and the territory, and power, not legitimacy, decides outcomes. Negotiations dragged on. Sanctions tightened and loosened. Media attention faded. And Maduro remained exactly where he was, not because he won, but because no one was willing to remove him. This is how Maduro crushed democracy and got away with it, not with a single dramatic act, but with 1,000 calculated moves. By maintaining the appearance of legality while destroying its substance, by allowing institutions to exist while stripping them of power, by turning survival into a political tool, by making the cost of resistance unbearable and the cost of international action inconvenient. Venezuela today is not a warning about the past. It is a warning about the future, about how fragile democratic systems really are when institutions are weak and leaders face no consequences, about how easily freedom can be traded for stability, and how difficult it is to reclaim once it is gone. If this story disturbed you, it should, because it did not happen in secret. It happened in real time, in front of the world, and it worked. If you want to understand how power truly operates in the modern world, how democracies fail, and why authoritarianism often survives pressure, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. More stories like this are coming, and you won't want to miss what we reveal next.